Jason Rzucidlo reporting for AmericaJR.com, being joined by travel expert Nicole Hockin. How are you today?
I'm well. How are you?
Very good. First, what are some tips people should follow when selecting a hotel room?
Well, there's a couple things I always like to tell people in choosing a hotel is, know the reason that you're choosing it. So, are you going for business? Are you going for romance? Are you traveling with the kids? Because where you stay will definitely impact your overall experience. And in choosing a hotel, looking at all, depending on what destination you're in, and also what location you want, all of those things will be equally important. But you might want to read the guest reviews. A site like hotels.com is great because you can do a couple of things. You can not only can you see all the hotels, bed and breakfast, vacation rentals in a given area, but you can also search by location. So, if you know an exact address that you want to be near, for example, if you were in New York and you want to be near Times Square, you can sort by proximity. You can sort by those family-friendly amenities if you are looking for something like that. But you can also read guest reviews, not just look at the photos, but read the guest reviews and see what other people have said about the experience, see if it matches what you're looking for, either positively or negatively. And my caveat and warning with guest reviews, because I do think they are invaluable, but you want to look for consistency in reviews. So, one extreme review in either direction that's a break from the norm is probably not what you would not be typical of that experience. But if you find, a consistent kind of tone, positive or negative, running through reviews about a particular hotel, then you might want to give that some weight as you make your decision.
Okay. Now, what should someone do if they get a dirty hotel room?
Well, there's a couple things that you probably should do. There's a difference between, there's kind of different levels of dirty, right? There's dirty and then there's things like bed bugs. But if you ever go into a hotel room and you're not comfortable with the level of cleanliness, generally a hotel will move you to or reaccommodate you to another room. And I need to say that first and foremost, how the request is made, even though the customer is always right, how you make that request will really, I think, impact the way that your request is received. So, in essence, you always catch more flies with honey, right? So even though you may be really irritated, try and make the request nicely. And in many cases, most people will get an upgrade because the hotel is, so appalled that their customers aren't happy. If for some reason, sometimes you're staying in a place during a really busy time, and if there are no other rooms available for them to move you to, then you can request that they send the cleaning crew back in there to clean the room if they don't offer it themselves. And that's, another important thing is if you are going to remain in that room, then be very specific about what you need cleaned. Besides in total, but say, please do an extra good job cleaning the bathroom. I want to make sure that I have a clean comforter and sheets on the bed. Please wipe down, or vacuum the floors or wipe down the counters or whatever it is that you're looking for.
Okay. Are you hearing more complaints about dirty rooms?
Not really. I just think that I say not really, having been in the industry a long time. I don't see that it's becoming more prevalent. I do think that the internet allows that information to become more pervasive. And so I think it's good because it makes, the average general traveler more aware, and that's important. So again, I go back to looking at the reviews. And if you do, a couple of, easy tips for, just things to look for in your room. Don't put your luggage on the bed. If there's going to be an issue with the bed in terms of cleanliness or the comforters, then put your luggage on the luggage rack. Generally, the comforters on your bed are not cleaned with every stay. So when I stay in a hotel, that's the first thing that I do is I always pull the comforter back and don't use it. And if you need extra blankets, then ask the hospitality office for more blankets to keep you warm, but don't use the comforter. So, pull that back, sit on the bed, because usually the blankets and sheets and so forth that are used are always cleaned. The other thing is, don't use the glasses in the hotel rooms. Always look for the plastic cups. Plastic cups in a bathroom are a great option. But if you don't have plastic cups in the bathroom, then thoroughly rinse out the glass cups, because you typically don't see the housekeeping crews walking around with big carts full of glasses. So those aren't always cleaned as well as you would hope.
Okay. Why do you think rooms are not being cleaned as well as maybe they should be?
Well, I think one, it depends on the level of the hotel that you're in. I think germs may be more pervasive, and more people are cycling through and traveling now than before. So I will say, in a down economy, there may be cutbacks on staffing, as well as, so they may have a housekeeping staff, but they maybe don't clean as often as they would throughout a day. Might be later in the day, or once a day versus multiple times, especially in smaller hotel properties versus bigger ones. But I also see with the information surfacing more and more, and with a lot of these issues, that many of the hotels are becoming more vigilant about it. But there's still, I think, an economy to why or how they clean their rooms.
Okay. Well, now what if somebody goes in their room and finds it dirty, but the hotel doesn't want to do anything?
That's a good question. I think then you need to document it. One, if you're not going to move hotels right away, then I would go find the housekeepers. I would take it upon yourself. Ask for the cleaner. Don't be uncomfortable in your situation, but document it first. So if you've got your camera with you, or most phones today, take some photos, have it down and documented. Write down the names of every person you talk to. Not just the front desk person, but did you speak to management? Speak to the housekeepers. And be very specific about what your complaints are, so that when you are done with your stay or with that experience, that you can then write a letter, not just to the hotel, if it's a brand, copy the front, copy the manager, copy whoever you booked it with, copy the president of the hotel, and kind of detail, again, use your images, use the names and the process you went through. And again, I go back to, and do it in such a way that they understand that the customer is always right and you're not alienating anyone else. But once you've done that and you've taken the pictures of the dirtiness that you are unhappy with, then go find, and if they're not willing to do anything, go find, the hospitality people, the housekeeping people, and get the clean sheets yourself, or go get some cleaner and clean things off. Generally things like the doorknobs, the phones, the alarm clock, and your remote controls are kind of breeding grounds for germs. And I think even if you just carry antibacterial wipes and write those things down, you're good. And also looking for things like bed bugs. Pull back the sheets. Like I said, get rid of the comforter. Those things will probably help you, get through the night until you can remedy the situation.
Copyright 2010, AmericaJR.com, Detroit, Michigan, USA.